It was on April 10, 1912. About a century and a decade ago. Was an ocean liner called Titanic. She was unsinkable and was one of the biggest ships in the world during the early 20th century. She also had other two sisters that are like her, Olympic and Britannic. She left the harbor of Southampton on 12 o'clock. Since there was no ships with propeller blades in the boat to push them to either side in the early 1900s, they used tugboats to pull the ships. The giant steamer left the docks and off onto her maiden voyage. While the 2,200 passengers and 900 crew will not expect of what's going to come 4 days into the future. Titanic arrived to Cherbourg, France and picked up more passengers. At Queenstown, Ireland, Titanic was too big to go to dock. While she was anchored, a ferry named Normatic transported passengers to the Titanic. This is where a rich woman named Margaret Brown boards the ship. She was called Molly Brown by many people. After Titanic sank, people called her the unsinkable Molly Brown. Now Titanic's last destination is New York City, USA. Sunset hits and this is the last time Titanic gets to see it. Titanic was warned about icebergs and she needs to be careful. It was a chilly night. It was breezing for the lookout men on the crow's nest on the front mast. They later saw something and when they got closer, they knew what it was. The bell was rung. They contacted the crew on the bridge and the words were heard said,
"Iceberg, right ahead!"
They tried to avoid the iceberg by going to starboard and reversing the engines. But it was already too late. The ship only could survive flooding of 1 to 4 compartments from the bow. But the iceberg opened 5. Which meant that Titanic would only have 2 hours and 40 minutes to stay on the surface. There were only 20 lifeboats. Those 20 were 16 normal ones and 4 collapsibles. After the last boat launched, only 1,503 were still on board. The vessel sank faster due to the compartment doors busting open. Before the entire ship can dip underwater, cracking noises can be heard for the ones on the ship. The structure of the ship fails, causing the stern to right itself, while the bow falls under in an instant. The stern sinks into the water in seconds, leaving the remaining 1,503 to freeze to death. The lifeboats were picked up by Carpathia. Then the survivors arrived to New York City safely.